I think it's important to bring awareness because a lot of people they don't know 100% of the facts. Me per se, I like to go on social media, I guess, to get information, but that's not all necessarily correct. A lot of things are biased, a lot of things people just make up. So it's really important to have these um, sources, these reliable sources from scientists who've been doing this for decades, so that we can know the facts and we can take preventative measures. I think a really good platform to do this is YouTube. Really great because that's also global, and you can interview scientists one on one and ask those questions that we really want to know the answers to, and then of course ask them to kind of like break it down into simpler terms because sometimes they'll go into things a little too much and I don't really know what they're talking about. So I feel like YouTube would help a lot just being able to hear the answers from the scientists themselves. And also, perhaps Twitter as well. Maybe have like once a week where you can kind of like ask a scientist or just ask questions. That would be really helpful too. Speaking for, I guess, my generation, definitely social media, definitely Twitter, um, Instagram, I suppose, but that's more so for pictures. But a lot of people do like to go on YouTube. Just like, for example, if they need help with like math homework, you could look up math tutorials on YouTube. I feel like YouTube has a lot of useful information for every type of area. So I feel like YouTube is definitely helpful for my generation as far as us trying to gain knowledge on a certain subject we're not familiar with. Absolutely. I feel like that would definitely grab the attention of those my age bracket just because, again, I mean, we could go on Google and try to research stuff ourselves, but sometimes we just want information just giving to us, kind of like that instant gratification, just going on a YouTube video, and we know by the end of the video we're going to have like way more knowledge about a certain subject that we didn't know about prior. I can definitely see where some scientists would come from as far as putting their research onto social media and kind of having to break it down simpler and how that takes away from their craft. However, I do feel like if we do want to reach out to more people, especially younger generation, I feel like that would be a helpful way just because like a lot of us don't want to read 5 paragraph or 5 page articles about things. So I do feel like even though it does take away from their craft and from their profession, it's still benefiting a lot of people. Well, right now I did conduct some interviews yesterday for some scientists in Africa, and so I'll just be kind of taking charge of their YouTube channel. And just we're going to set schedule like once a week to just like get out some interviews, and hopefully that will grab the attention of the younger generation as far as um, like getting more information on the research that they're conducting. I definitely feel like YouTube and podcast will get the word out there more. I do know like a lot of my friends listen to podcasts. Of course, it's not usually like scientific podcasts, but I do feel like having the option there would definitely be more helpful as opposed to just kind of like relying on articles or just not knowing anything. Well, so we interview different scientists and we just kind of ask them like um, how long they've been doing it, why it's important to them, maybe like hardships that they've encountered while um, in their career fields because a lot of them have been doing it for decades, so they've seen and heard a lot. So it's kind of just like it's more so personal to that research, but also we like to get to know like what they're doing from their day to day.